Russia says its air force has targeted a Daesh convoy in Syria, killing over 200 terrorists. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, vehicles carrying large-caliber weapons were heading to the city of Dayr-al-Zawr. The air raid also destroyed the terrorist vehicles and ammunition. The ministry said following heavy losses in Raqqa and Homs provinces, the terrorists are now trying to make their last stand in Dayr-al-Zawr. Daesh Takfiri terrorists who control most parts of the province have kept the provincial capital under siege since 2014. Russian authorities say recapturing Dayr-al-Zawr will mark the end of Daesh in Syria. To get more insight into the story, let's go live to Ontario in Canada to talk to Jason Unruhe, political commentator. Mr. Unruhe, it's great to have you with us here on Press TV News. What is, in your opinion, the significance of this Russian airstrike against the Daesh convoy, given the fact that the terror group has suffered heavy defeats recently in Raqqa and Homs provinces in Syria, and there's also an operation against the terror group being carried out in Tal Afar in Iraq?
Oh, this is a tremendous loss for Daesh forces inside of the country. Taking out 200 individuals in a single strike is certainly a very big deal and would do some serious damage to their numbers. It's no secret that Daesh has been on the retreat as of late. They've suffered major defeats at the hands of many forces that are competing against them, many of them particularly from the coalition of Syria, Russia, Iran, and others. And right now, they're in a very terrible situation where much of their underhanded support that was coming from the United States and much of it coming from Saudi Arabia seems to be lacking. The general consensus in Washington has been that the attempt to overthrow the Assad government inside of Syria has been a complete and utter failure. After all these years and all the money, U.S. taxpayer money spent on it, it has failed to achieve the goal that it had set out to do. And instead, it has resulted in tremendous harm to many people. So given the fact that the support for Daesh, much of it underhanded and behind the scenes, is coming to a close, and then suffering this severe defeats they have, this 200 personnel loss on top of it is a major blow to the organization.
Mr. Unruhe, we heard Syrian President Bashar al-Assad yesterday praising the role of the Lebanese resistance movement, Hezbollah, the Islamic Republic of Iran, and Russia in the fight against terror groups in Syria. Is this latest Russian airstrike proof to that?
Oh, I certainly do think so. The cooperation from many sources has been tremendously successful. Even if someone who's on a very low level of technology like Hezbollah, when you compare it to larger states like Syria and Russia, they've had a tremendous impact on the ongoing struggle, and shows that if there is a sincere effort to actually end the Daesh forces, this can be accomplished. And this cooperation shames much of the so-called U.S. effort in the country that has been to supposedly get rid of Daesh. They seem to have been largely ineffective in achieving this measure. Instead, they've been much more successful at pumping money and weapons into the YPG, the Kurds in the north, to solidify territory away from the Syrian government. It shows that Daesh can be defeated. This is not the impossible feat that much of the U.S. media makes it out to be. In their view, much of it is a decades-long struggle against many forces and will continue forever, thus justifying many of their occupations that they carry out across the world. But this does show that Daesh can be defeated if forces are cohesive and definitely dedicated to doing so.
Thank you so much. Jason Unruhe, political commentator, joining us from Ontario in Canada. Thank you very much indeed.